just for this particular moment, no. Just for my hedonism to indulge.
All right, camera wasn't working before, but it's working now. Wasn't ready for that. Was turning it on to see if I could fix it. So, looks like I need to support it a little better here. So give me a minute. I'm probably going to have to go upstairs for a minute. I wasn't prepared to go live. I didn't think my camera was working. And I was just going to fix it up. So let me see. What do we have to do here? Let me see if this works. I need a little more tape, I think. Rigging it, baby. Gotta rig it. Gotta rig everything. Wish I could figure out how to rig my house to have a hot water heater. Ran out of oil next winter, and I have no hot water heater, and this house was built in 1850, and I have to figure out how I'm going to get one installed and what the process is going to be like. We still have a couple more weeks of winter left. All right, I'm sorry to do this, but I'm going to run upstairs for a minute. Okay. I'm going to show what I've made in the last week or so. I gotta put my sweater on. So it is still quite chilly here. And so aside from wire wrapping, I have been in between wire wrapping and reading and practicing. I have been studying up on metalsmithing. So I've got my flux, my solder, my torch, my heat plate, some of my other tools I've been bringing up from the basement, and my buffing wheel, my grinding wheel, my Dremel, my Dremel holder with the air hose, which I can't get that to work right. That's just for a drill bit. It doesn't seem to hold the buffing wheel, the hand buffing wheel. And I brought my big torch up, and then I bought this Burns-O-Matic torch. So when I'm ready, I'm gonna purchase the copper and the silver. I'm looking for the little tiny pieces of solder. Well, Rio Grande has everything I need. I just have to, it's time to pay house taxes and things like that right now. So I have to wait till the important stuff is done. And then I'll move forward with that more. But middle at a time, I'm constantly watching all the videos from all the pros so I can learn all kinds of different techniques and safety, PPE things, and things like that. So let's see how low I can get the camera. I hope my wire don't break. Everything is rigged. And that's what happens when you don't have a man around. I was spoiled for a long time. So I made this. So it was like a combination of the, what gauge wire was that? I think I used 16 gauge. So I took the 16 gauge and I wrapped it. I did quite a bit of wrapping. As you can see over here are all kinds of different wraps. I have tons of wraps that I have made and experimented with all the different gauges of brass and copper. Still working with them. So I hammered the heart. I followed someone's tutorial. I don't know who it was. I didn't write it down. I guess I should have, but I didn't. And I just used one of my labs. And I ended up sewing with some of it, weaving all the way around. And then, anyway, that's what it came out of. Some people really like it where I posted it. It took me a lot of hours. It took me 5 hours. I mark on my price tags how many hours it takes of work to put into my pieces for when someone wants to complain about what my prices are. So they can bite their tongue. So that was a nice lab piece. I don't think I showed these before. So this is all 999 fine silver. And this is a Shaylin blend cabochon. I was following another lady's design. I didn't watch her do it, but I just kind of looked at it. And I used a coil. I made the coils that are on it, which I'm sure most of you watch and do all these things. But I'm just getting back to doing wiring after 2020, I shut down to take care of my mom. I shut my business down, my silicone mold making and resin art, and I was doing some wire wrapping back then. So I have a gorgeous pressure pot that I don't have any help getting mounted. So it's been sitting since 2020, brand new, 5-gallon. It's gorgeous. Paid $600 for it back then. So I guess when the time's right, it'll get hooked up. So this was a piece that I worked on. It's a beautiful lab. I believe I got this from V-Rock Shop in Ohio. So what I do is I work my metal. I do have some pieces like this that's copper that I did not polish. It's orange, you know, it's got the orange copper on it. But I just love using that polisher. And I have an antique jewelry rag from my mom and stepdad that was in a plastic bag in with mom's jewelry. And it's fantastic. And I looked up the company and it's not around anymore. And it's incredible what it does when I buff with that. But first I twist my wires. I've been doing weaving, learning weaving, and I'm sure all of you know how to do all this. So this is added on. This piece here is a piece of my twisted wire pile that I've been experimenting with. I've hammered all this and polished it all twice and washed it all, and it's ready to do something with. So this is what I did. I grabbed a piece of that and I sewed it onto the front of this other weaving that I did with the beads. But before I did that, of course, I put it on the buffing wheel with the rouge. This is the type of rouge that I use. It's called Polishing Compound. It's the color brown, but I always like the red. So I got that one at Harbor Freight. And of course, I'll put that on the buffing wheel, and then I buff all the copper and the brass pieces. And then after I'm done doing all the sides and edges and everything, it's black by then, and I take it over to the sink and I use Industrial Dawn on a gentle scrub brush, and under warm water I scrub all the polishing compound off, and then I pat it dry with a white washcloth like this and get the wetness off of it, and then I lay it on the antique cloth, and then I buff it with the cloth, and oh, it's just outstanding. I can't even get the results on camera of how gorgeous they look. And so I got hooked on that. I just love that. I love when things shine. So I really love that. So this piece took 10 hours for me to complete. It's, it is what it is, and it's a little large. It's gorgeous though. And so that was a nice one. So so this is the raw brass. This is the electrical brass, the 7 wired brass wrapped around and put over a green labradite, which this was a piece I made 3 years ago, and then I added some of this to it, which was super cool. And then I have a roll of brass from Rio. This was on clearance one time. And I said, sure, it was in the scratch and dent thing. And nothing's ever wrong with their scratch and dent when they do those sales. So I got that roll. It sat for years. And so I started learning how to do the 5 wire weaving. So I did this aquamarine, put a little Buddha bead on there. And this took 3 hours. I am 61 and my hands aren't as agile as they used to be, so it takes me a little bit of time. So there's that guy, and all this is on sale, for sale on my link tree, and that is linktree/ I am a medium, and I have a shop on that link tree. I also list on lekranchcreations on Facebook, but I like people just to purchase through the shop and make it easier. Or you could always message me. Here is a gorgeous, I don't know if you could see the purple in this. I don't know why. I don't have a flashlight nearby. But this is a beautiful purple chevron amethyst with the brass wrapping and a chevron bead. That's not chevron, that's regular amethyst. So these beads were from malas that I had from Kunzang Poling Monastery in Poolesville, Maryland, that were gifted to me by the monks when I went in there. They thought that I was some, I don't know, a reincarnated monk or something, because when I sat down, I could sing all the songs, and I'd never been in a Buddhist monastery before. So that was pretty cool. So the necklace broke over time. So I've been using the beads on different pieces that I've been making. So it's really pretty. This camera doesn't even do it justice. It's just such a beautiful shades of purple. So that's a piece that's listed. All these are listed on the link tree. And there's that beauty. The beauty, I put the little Buddha bead on. I should name them all, but I haven't. I used to do that sort of thing, have a name for everything. Okay. I have one more. So I have 5 of the amethyst malas. I mean, the amethyst beads from the mala necklace. This is, this does have a pretty flash to it. See that? So I've learned to figure out what angle the flash is at for someone who's wearing the necklace so that people could see it flashing, because I was making them upside down and they didn't have a flash, so I had to undo it and redo it. So there's our amethyst flash. For now, I just have a purple suede cord on here because I ran out of the rose gold chains that I was using. So that beauty's on there with the amethyst, and I did weaving all around the sides. These were long weaving pieces that I made that I ended up making everything out of. So that one's pretty nice. I buffed this one. So I did the high buff on it. I don't know if you could see the difference. This one's orange, and then this one buffed out. It's a high buff on that brass. So I made this one last night. This purple one and this one last night, and I started making this one. I mean, it's okay. I'm sure someone will like it, but I did try to do the weaving with the 16 gauge wire. No, I'm sorry, the 18 gauge wire, and it's just a little too thick for me to manipulate. So I ended up spreading it all out around the crystal. This is a milky quartz to capture that. And I'm not done, but that's what I was working on today. I was working, these pieces are great. I gave my neighbor a bracelet for coming to help me. I made another heart wrap bracelet. Those are listed on my site. So I gave her the lapis one. But from the pieces left over from making the bracelets and that, I had enough to make some rings. So I'm learning, and these look so much more pretty than they do on this camera. But I'm learning how to solder, and I'm not really good at soldering. So I had gotten this special little kit that came with these tiny little soldering rods and this Tix Flux and Anti-Flux. So I'm probably could be using the wrong stuff for copper because it looks awful silver. So I'm just practicing with these. So I'm not real good at it at all. See, that one won't even stick together. That's the wrap wires. This one did stick, but I wouldn't sell these. I wouldn't even give them to anyone because I'm really still in the practice stage of figuring this out. So I'm still learning about that. I did watch a lot of videos on how to make rings and stuff, but I don't have any flat copper or any flat silver to make bezels or make ring bands. I don't even have the saw that I could make them out of coins because I got some really cool coins. But I can't do that. But this was a bracelet that I just kind of was futzing around with, and it had a weak spot on it here. This was just wire that got wrapped, and I hammered it, and it just looks cool, and I polished it. But I put a little little solder there, and it did make it stronger. It's much stronger than it was earlier tonight. So that's good to know. So that's another practice thing that I did. And then My daughter sent me this link for making tensor rings. I don't know if you know what they are. I've been putting the water bottle in the middle, and man, if that don't get smooth tasting from being inside this. So tensor rings have an energy field inside them if you make them correctly. So I was able to accomplish one, and it's working because I could taste the difference in my water. When I was little, my dad would have a pyramid set up by the pool, magnetic north, and we would put gallons of water under that. And I remember the water getting real smooth with that when I was little. So anyway, I did do a tensor ring. I'll probably give it to her unless I make another. I was watching how they're making them, and the one guy made it seem so much more difficult. I just must have got lucky that the ends matched up, because I'm not sure that I want to go through all the trouble. So I had this one, because you have to use one consecutive piece of wire and, wrap it on your drill. You could do it by hand, but I like the drill. And then when you cut it, and it has to be a certain length. They have to be certain cubit lengths, which I'm not good with numbers, but they have to match, and they have to be like 6.5 across or 9.5 across or whatever they are. I know. I don't. I guess I could match this up and make another one that size, but I don't even know if that's the right size. But I know it's working because I could taste the difference in the water. I cut one too small because I misunderstood what I was reading. So I ended up making a little one, and I don't think it's the right size of the little ones. But anyway, so this is the raw copper. And then, of course, me with my machine, I had to polish it and do all the things to it that I'd like to do with the metal and make it pretty. I really wish this camera was better. I think with all the money that I paid for it, it would be a lot better. But it's very shiny. And it's pretty, and I don't know. I might just save that to wrap around something that I'm going to make. But these are all the different pieces that I have wrapped, hammered, and polished, double polished. So I polish them with the rouge on the machine. Then I take them to the sink and I scrub them. Then I dry them. Then I hand polish them with the beautiful rouge cloth. And I rinse them again. Then I dry them. Then I use a computer cloth. Not a computer cloth. It's an auto cloth from Walmart. And then I use that to finish it off. So some of them are okay. This one's kind of ugly. I don't really like that one. This one turned out pretty. This one shines real pretty. I'm sure you could see that one shining. This is what it looked like before it shined. It has a real dull gold to it. But that's old brass. This brass is probably 60, 70, 80 years old. It was from an old workshop of my stepdad on an old wooden spool that's all chewed up, and it's super old. So I got a couple really cool brasses from his workshop stuff that I inherited, and I looked up the one company, and the company's actually still in business, the one company, but they really don't sell to the public. But the brass is gorgeous. And so here's a piece. This is the electrical brass. No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. This is not the electrical. This is square brass, square copper, twisted once, folded in half, twisted again, and then I took the brass and I wrapped it around that, and then I hammered it, and then I polished it with the two-step process of polishing, and it is so pretty. I wish you could really see how pretty that is. It just doesn't do it justice as far as I could see. Maybe once the video is published, it'll look better. This was another twist. I did not hammer this twist. I did wrap other wire in the center, so experimenting. I may just leave this as a bulky piece that'll get wired on to something. I don't want to hammer this one. I've seen the results of what this one did, and this was the same. So this is the electrical wire they sell at Lowe's. It's a 7-strand copper wire that I wrapped around there. And the guy gave it to me 20 bucks off. I paid 30 bucks for 5 pounds of it. And I wrapped it onto my Rio spools. And it's so pretty and so shiny. So that I was real excited about that. So I could find some things to use this for, but it's not good for everything. And this is it again. So it looks all crumply because I smashed it down. So if I were to smash this down, it would look like that. And then after I smashed it down, then I wrapped it with this 16 or 18 gauge. So I had no idea what I'm going to end up doing with that. But this is, again, it's me experimenting, seeing what I come up with these different wire techniques. Now this one's really beautiful. So the brass, I love the brass. It just comes out so shiny when I do that double polishing process after hammering it. So this is the Rio Grande square brass. It just says 2x2 16-ounce. It's like I'd say it's like a 20 gauge. And so I wrapped this, I'm going to say I wrapped this 2 or 4 times. I'm going to say I did it 4 times. So I'll wrap it, twist it, and then I'll bend it in half, and then I'll twist it again, and then I hammer it down. So I did wrap this with a piece of actual copper. This one's wrapped with copper around brass. And it's so pretty. It really is pretty. Really buffs up nice. And then when you hand buff it, it comes out even nicer than on the wheel. I just can't get over that. That gets me every time. Here's another piece of that pretty brass that I wrapped. And when I wrapped this, I didn't leave any of it undone. But when I had it on the drill, I actually hit the drill too fast and it winded down. So then I hit it in reverse just for a second and it like opened it up. So it opened up the wire that was wrapped in a really cool way. And this is the raw piece. This is just hammered, but it's not polished. And so this is polished. So you see the difference, how gorgeous that brass comes out. I may practice making some rings out of that. I love this. This is copper. This was raw copper. Gonna say this is the 16 gauge, and it's it's 4 pieces. So that means I probably wrapped it 2 and then folded it in half and 1 again, and then hammered it. So beautiful. So it's making nice bracelets. I have a couple bracelets out on my rack out there that I made. Maybe I'll walk out and grab them in a couple minutes. And then this is, I adore this one. This is the electrical wire. Again, the 7-strand with brass, the square brass wrapped around it and hammered. And it turned out so pretty. So pretty. So it's weird that when I polish this, it doesn't lose its copper look. It really, really looks pretty. And then this is the 7-strand wrapped around another wire. And that's what that looks like on one single. So I have done them, twice, just playing with everything, just seeing what I get. And then I used my square, I just got the new pound of square. What the heck is it? 20 gauge? I think it's 20 or 20, 21. I think it's 20 gauge square wire. So I twisted that on the drill And then I can use that in bits when I'm doing my wire wrapping. I was just fooling around a little bit earlier. I didn't get much accomplished with that. And then this is that old brass that's over there. It's pretty kind of soft, but it got hard from me hammering it. And this was a piece that I had left over. I didn't work it a lot. There's not a lot done with that. So, and then I have another piece of that raw twist from trying to do a tensor ring. I cut the wrong size off. And then here are some of the other twists that I did when I first was waiting for my wire to come and stuff. These are just coils that I made out of silver wire, red wire. Just getting acclimated to playing with the wire again. So just practicing my weaving. It's been, like I said, I shut down in 2023 and I didn't really get too far. So I've been practicing. I tried macrame. I used to do macrame and make flower pots, hanging flower pots. So I decided to macrame with that 7-strand copper. So that's the square knots with that. And then I watched Vaughn from Back to Earth Creations and made a couple weaving bars there. So, so I did that. And then I'm preparing. I made a bunch. I call them rigs. I don't know what you would call them, but these are all 5 strands of brass that I have cut and taped to put in the vise. I went and got a little $32 vise at Lowe's. So I have this to weave with. So I have all these, what I call my little rigs, all ready to go. So I could just whip them out and start weaving. So I was so happy with that. So far with all that I've been doing, I got a bunch of copper scrap and brass scrap for whatever I may need whenever. Just reach in there and use that up a little. So, yeah. So I'm just playing around. I just got 100 labs, 30 millimeter cabs of labradorite from Labradorite King. And he's supposed to give me a code to give everybody, but I haven't gotten that email yet with that in it. But I'll list that when I get it. So I got the labs, and they gave me some free facets of garnets and crystals for Women's Day. And I also ordered 10 opals. And I just have so much that I had saved up from 3-4 years ago. I had purchased an awful lot of stones and gemstones, just a lot of stuff that I haven't done anything with, and I'm so excited because I have a lot to work with. So I can just reach in and get something. And because I was a resin artist, if you look back on the videos in this channel, you'll see 100 or 2 videos of me creating with my, I was a silicone mold maker and a resin artist. So let me move these beauties out of the way. So this is a resin Buddha, which I'm going to wrap. I can't wait to wrap. I still have all the molds. I have shelves of molds downstairs that I would love to use. I need a little bit of help. My hands don't work good. I like when a man knows what he's doing and can help me and makes something nice and sturdy so that I can use it as a tool. So I need my 5-gallon pressure pot mounted. And once that's mounted and leveled, I can bring my compressor in and I can get busy and doing some things that I love to do. So I can make a bunch of these. I want to see how this comes out when I wrap it and see how that comes out. It's a little large, but I have some smaller molds of things like this too. And so the resin art makes really nice pieces. I have some beautiful resin crystals that I had made for geode art, and I have wrapped them and made some jewelry out of them, and they're beautiful. Women really love them. I want to show you something really cool. I've had this for about 4 years. Isn't it just darling? Oh, it gets me excited looking at that flash. I just love it. Yeah, I love that. I didn't see it for the longest time. I actually had it in my garage and I was going to sell it at the yard sale. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. I brought it back up. So I had this piece from 4 years ago with sandstone with some brass wire that I didn't finish. Then I started working on this piece. This cab, I bought 2 packages of clearance cabs. They got like 500 bags of them up at V Rocks. And so I bought 2 bags of cabochons, and this was in there. And I didn't think it was the greatest looking stone. It looks like mustard. I don't know what it is, but I did a big weaving here. That's the most weaving I've ever done. And so I put it around this big stone, and that's as far as I got. I got my square piece on the front. And then I had this piece that I hammered, was the first piece that I hammered after 3 or 4 years. And I even think that's brass that I got on there, but I never finished it. So that one's laying here waiting for when I'm motivated to do that one. And this other brass one with the aquamarine, I didn't finish this one yet. I was feeling a little awkward with it. So I that one's laying there for when I'm ready. But I did finish up 4 other ones. So I just have a few miscellaneous ones that are nothing fancy. Some people, they'll go for the inexperienced simple one because, they're simple people and they like that. And then other people will like my fancy ones. So something for everyone. And this is a beautiful, beautiful point that I had made a beautiful silicone mold out of. And I had a lot of resin artists who were doing geode art, and I started making crystal molds after the Russian lady. And back then, like, there was only 2 of us, maybe 3 of us, until the craze hit, and then everybody wanted to do it. So in the beginning, we were the ones that did the crystal molds. And now everybody's doing them. So I'm not even getting back into it to do the crystal molds. I have so many crystal molds that I designed and made. I just want to do it for whatever I feel like. Maybe the trays, whatever. I've got a lot of molds. I had 80 molds listed up on my site back in the day. So this is a gorgeous that's a real crystal, and I just love her. So there's a couple generators that I bought 3 or 4 years ago. One is loose. I don't know how to get that back up in. It seems too small. So I have to see. I might have a bigger one that I might be able to fit in there, but it just seems too small to fit in there and stay. So I have to figure that out. I only have a couple of these left. But I have so much here. I just have I have a lot, but I only have a little bit out here. So I got a bunch of points to work with, a lot of aquamarines, my fluorite. I thought I had more fluorites, but I'm not finding them. So I don't know. I must have gave them away. And then this multi-layered holder I got from Michael's, which is awesome. That's so heavy I can barely lift it up. But I have a lot to sit and play with and sit and work with. And so you'll see my videos come up and then I take them down I go live on my jewelry making TikTok channels, and I'll go live at YouTube at the same time. And I usually take them down the next day because they're, it's not like I'm super experienced and people are going to want to watch what I'm making. So, in fact, I didn't even know my camera was going to work tonight. That's me and my dad when I was 13 or 14 back in the day. Me and Papa. So, yeah, so normally instead of being online, what I was doing was watching the videos, learning. And I don't know that I could play those videos while I'm on here because I like to multitask. So I like to do a few things at the same time. And yeah, so I wasn't prepared to sit here and make anything tonight. But I thought I would come on since the camera got rolling. I thought I would come on anyway, keep it rolling, say hello, see how everyone's doing. Gardening season will be starting. Let's see, we're in April. So I have about, I'm going to say a good 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks before I can plant in the ground. Usually the week, Mother's Day or the week after is usually we're good with the last frost here. I'm up about less than an hour from the Pennsylvania Poconos. So it's chilly up here. Real. So I don't know that I'm really going to make anything. I might just end this. It's 12:25 here. So I think I might just end it and then come up with some other things to do next time I go live. Like I said, I've been taken down on my videos. Nothing. Boy, that would be interesting, the Rapalo mushroom, huh? I don't know how that's going to go. I can't believe all the things I have to wrap now, though, but I'll be busy. I just have to buy a few more things for my metal smithing. I need the silver. I need the copper. I need the little chips of solder. And I need to figure out exactly which solder goes with which metal for sure. And I need to get a little saw. I thought I had one, but maybe I do. When I go through the garage in the spring, maybe I'll find it. But I'm excited. I really want to do the metal smithing. The wire wrapping's nice and it's fun, and I'm having fun with that. But my goal is silver and turquoise. I really love turquoise. I don't have one real turquoise stone, but I have a dealer out in Arizona who does those big shows out there, who I made friends with years ago. So I'm going to see about buying some off of them when it's time. And I love Rio Grande, so I'm going to get more of my silver wires. As much supplies as I can. I have listed in my shopping cart on that website. And what else was I going to say? Rio Grande. There's something I was going to say I wanted to get. Sorry, I was eating coconut cookies. There's Something else I wanted to get from Rio. Well, I have to get the pickle. I tried making pickle and it didn't work, so I have to get the pickle. And I want to get the probably the bead polisher and something called Shine Bright Burnishing Compound. I need to get that. But there was something else I wanted to get. I think it's on Rio. Oh, I want to get the mill. I want to get the metal mill for rolling and pressing because I want to melt my own. Oh, the gold. So I want to be able to get a crucible and melt my own silver and gold in that eventually. Eventually. But I was waiting to buy the rose gold wire until I get more experienced and my hands, like I know what I'm doing. I don't have to watch videos. I could think about it. So that's my goal because I have a lot of facets, real gemstone facets that I've been saving up for years and that I inherited some. And I want to make really beautiful jewelry. So my goal is to work with the silver and the rose gold and the gold wire from Rio Grande. So eventually I will get there. I'm so impressed by so many of the women and men on YouTube and the Facebook jewelry groups and the jewelers that come on and help and give their advice. So I know my son has a lapidary machine, and maybe someday I'll get something like that, or maybe I could just go use his for when I need it. But that's a lot of investment. And at my age, at 61, I'm not sure that I should be concerned about that. I think I want to keep things simple, and then if I needed help or had some project going, I know my son would help me. I don't think I need to buy machines to do simple things, but I'm the kind of person that when I get a hobby going, I want to have everything to do it, and I've always been that way. So I just have to have a little self control and not worry about that. Want to see something cool? I don't know if you could see this. I don't know if this is even real. It's got to be real, right? It's got looks like crystal on the side. Then it's got pink lines like a geode. And I don't understand how they would be able to do that. But it looks like dye on the side. I'm not sure if it's real or not. It's super cool. But I just can't tell if it's real or not. I wanted to keep this one for me because I like girly stuff. So I was going to keep that one. I know the electroplate that this is dyed or whatever they electroplate that. I know that that's not real. I question a lot of stones and stuff that I see. You know what I question? Because I've looked this up before and I know that they can make fake amethyst, them gigantic amethysts that they sell that people buy. I just think it's a business racket, and I think that it's very rare to find actual rare pieces of amethyst. I think there's a little too many of them out there that I don't believe that they're real. And my instincts, which are pretty good being a 5-star psychic medium, uh, they tell me that most of those are not real and that they are man-made. So yeah, I've seen enough man-made things to know, and I just could tell. I just when I get a feeling on something, I'm usually right. So I don't like it. I was a crystal picker for 20 years with my kids. We would pick on the Broad Mountain, um, and those are real crystals, and you know what they feel like. You know the energy of them. And being an energy worker, I know the energy of something. So there's a lot of fake stuff out there. There really is. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go hang all my beautiful pieces back up where they belong. I have 6 necklace racks filled with gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. So, if you ever need a gift or you want to buy a present for somebody, my shipping in the United States is only $7. And I have 4 racks of mostly handmade earrings. I have bracelets, and I have a lot of wire wrapped, and I also have gemstone necklaces. A lot of them also that I have assembled. So I have price ranges from $8 up to $130, $140 for the big pieces. So if you ever need something, my email is greenjuicemystic@gmail.com. My website is iamamedium.com. And my email is on that website. And my link tree is linktree/I am a medium. And there is a shop there where you could use the PayPal buttons or your credit cards or whatever and just purchase right from there. Now, for anyone out of the country, if you really wanted something, I know you're going to pay up to like $30 shipping. Pretty sure. It's pretty crazy. So, but some people it doesn't matter. So, I used to ship my molds and resin creations around the world, and I had customers all over the place, and they didn't care what the price was. They wanted to do it, they did it. But for those in the United States, for little items, it's only $7. And then if you were to get a bunch of items or buy some of the bigger things, I have statues and different things for sale that I want to get rid of, pewter statues. Those packages, they're only it would probably be a box. So it probably would be about $20 or $26 to ship the packages. But I haven't listed those statues up yet. Those are some military statues that I don't want, I don't need. And they're gorgeous pewter statues. Um, but yeah. My shipping's just $7 right now. But when I list the bigger stuff up, obviously it's going to be more. But have a great night. I'm going to go and put my pieces back on the racks, polish them back up from touching them. And I'll leave this video up. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. And if you're so much better than me at all of this stuff, please definitely subscribe. If you sell cabs or courses, or if you're a professional, leave your information in my link if you're allowed to leave a link. And subscribe, and I will subscribe back to anybody that subscribes. And I always promote companies and people, and I've always been that way. And I have 3.4 million views on my Google reviews. So I don't mind promoting people. And if you have any type of affiliate programs or coupon links or anything that I could share, feel free to email me and leave them. And I love to promote. So, all right, everybody. I have to reach across the screen to turn this off. Have a good evening. Good night.